Morning, guys. We're going for a little road trip today out to my friend Adam's house to take a look at some of his crazy stuff. He's a big collector and he collects everything.
There. Come on in. How's it going today?
Very good, buddy.
Sorry about the huge mess in here, but I bought a load of parts the other day.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah. So perfect.
How's it going, buddy?
Good. You? Oh, that'll work. That looks better than the one I had. What do you want for it?
Oh,
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, because the one I had was a mess, and then I put a aftermarket one in it. Well, the one I had that came with it, that motor was broken, and I welded it, and then it doesn't fit good, and the thing's a mess. Anyway, and then my original one's garbage, and then I bought a new one, and they only come in chrome, and I hate chrome, and then it doesn't fit the thing, and I don't know, it's a mess, because I have to reshape the top of it to fit the headers.
Yeah.
So I spent all that time, and I don't know, whatever. So between all that, those were in the fenders of his 32 Ford.
Mm-hmm.
He bought the car in 1963. I don't know what's in there. There should be 4, 2 backup ones, and then there's 2 of the other ones, the red lenses. And what are they, 61 Chevy?
I don't even know what those.
Yeah. Well, there's the other 2 matching.
Yeah, I don't need the other two.
Yeah, they're a set.
I know, but I have these.
We'll have 4 more.
I know you do.
You know what I don't like? I don't like when somebody says make an offer, and then I'm doing that to you.
$3.
Sure. Yeah. Perfect.
I hate coming here.
It didn't take very long.
Every time I come, I have to buy something.
Yeah.
I gotta close my eyes and not look at your stuff.
Well,
I would buy that right now, but I already know what you're asking for.
I know.
I've seen it online,
I know.
but I love it.
I know. I sold the other one.
Did
I
you?
bought it, yeah. So
Where'd you get that from?
A guy that I know called and said, I turned 70, I need to start downsizing. I said,
Gotta
"What?
love
That
this."
has nothing to do with anything. I said, that just sounds like you're not interested in it anymore. And he goes, yeah, I'm just going to finish and stuff. So I went and bought a whole bunch of parts off him, and then he had the air meters, and they weren't even displayed anymore. They were in a spare bedroom on top of an old hot tub, sitting in the basement, laying on their side. So I bought the pair of them.
Love them.
Yeah. So I sold one. I have another one upstairs in pieces that I was going to restore a decade ago, and I never haven't done it. So, yeah.
Yeah, one of these days I'll have one for my collection. Where'd you get this one? This
Quebec.
wasn't here last time I was here.
Nope, I bought it a couple weeks ago down near Sherbrooke, Quebec. 32 Ford V8, first year for the V8, 4-door sedan. They bought it in Deep River in the 1980s. Then they wanted it done they restored it in 1991 for the grandfather's anniversary, and then they basically used it in a parade and a wedding after that, and it sat since 1995. So they every several years the son would go out, put a battery and points in it, fire it up. Several years later, put battery and points in it, fire it up, and then they just decided over 25 years of doing that, I guess they don't need it. So I got to clean the gas tank. It runs on the fuel acceptable. I don't know how it runs on that.
Yeah.
But it runs fine. But I'm gonna clean the gas tank, get it tuned up, running really nice, and then I gotta pull the motor out, rebuild the transmission because it kicks out a second. And then hopefully we'll be driving it next summer. I haven't washed it or anything. It's got bugs on it from the ride home. This is how it was. It's sitting in their garage.
One of my Volkswagens used to do that in the
Yeah.
third gear.
Yeah.
Going down the highway and all of a sudden it kicked out.
Yeah.
It scared the shit
Well,
out of me.
the Ford, there's a bunch of things that happen in the transmission, but they get worn, and usually the thrust gets out of tolerance. And if you're driving in second, and you let off, and then the car holds itself back, you'll see the shifter will walk out, and then it'll make a grind and pop out. But in this case, it doesn't even really want to hold in accelerating or just driving in second. So it's got a little worse. So
Yeah, mine always held in, but you had to hold it into third.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. This one you got to hold it,
Yeah.
but then you go into third and then it's fine. So
Yeah.
it would be okay, but I just want to make it better.
Cool.
It's a nice enough car. So I was surprised. That's one of the very few instances where the guy described it on the phone, and then we made a deal over the phone, and I went there, and it was way nicer than I expected.
So you did
And
that.
I told him that too.
You did that unseen.
Like I get that when people come here, but I get that very rarely when I go somewhere else. So it's pretty neat. I'm excited.
And I see you have this guy uncovered now.
Yeah, I had it out for a drive up and down the road.
Running good.
Yeah, it runs pretty good. I got to do a little maintenance on it here, maybe this winter. I got a long list of stuff to do this winter. The shop's a disaster. I'm just finishing up the Galaxy there, the 4-speed conversion and mechanical rebuild, and then I can put away all the stuff on the tables and clean all this up and get on with the next projects. Never bored. Got 1,010 things going on.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
So I see that old truck you got out there.
What do you think of that lump of stuff? What a heap.
Yeah, but you had it running?
Yeah, it
You
runs.
got it running? Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised. I didn't expect anything out of the motor when I bought it. I didn't even look at the motor.
No,
Well,
I
I just
remember when
figured
you,
it's gonna be seized up
posted the pictures asking people's opinions if you should just keep it as lawn art and
Yeah.
part it out. And
I'm gonna put it out back for lawn art. Not on the front lawn, but
I
it's
gotta
gonna
go
be in
take
the
a
back
look at
lawn.
it.
Well, let's go check it out. It's not very good, but it's neat. If that makes any sense.
it does.
In the front. So I didn't want to put good fenders on it, but the only two people that replied to had them had fiberglass fenders, and I don't want to put those on it. Yeah, one's broken. But
Yeah.
they're aftermarket. Someone put a signal kit on it.
I think I have some of those lenses
Yeah.
sitting in a box at home.
So yeah.
Not like that's gonna make the truck better.
So I got a pair of doors. Well, I'm gonna put that door on over there, and then the door that's in it. And then there's pieces of the front fenders. So they torched the fenders because they had the engine running 20-something years ago. So I guess it was easier to work on by torching the fenders off. Well, they were
Made it
they
faster.
were junk anyway. Yeah. So I'm gonna just weld up some pieces and just like it. There's stuff about it that's good, but if you took it apart to part it out, you would throw most of it away, and then it would
Yeah.
just be gone from the end of time, right?
Yeah.
So what my plan is, I'm going to pull the engine transmission, the cross member, the shock mounts, and I'm going to loosen all the steering box bolts, so then I can pull it out. There's a couple tools while it's in the backyard if I decide I need the steering box, because I already have a bunch of them in stock. So, and then I have another set of tires to put on it, and I'll weld the fenders back on, because the pieces are all laying in the back where they were torched off. And then the front corners here where they're really rotten, there's another hood there, and I might cut some piece out of the hood just to weld it in. Doesn't have to be accurate, just better. And then I'll put it in the backyard. Yes. Put some license plates on it or something. And then really the only thing that has any value really out there is going to be the wheels on it. That one's got some bangs in the lip. Maybe it's no good anyway, so. It could have been, but I don't know. I felt sorry for that. It was going to go for scrap in Kingston.
Oh hell no.
Yeah, it's junk though, but there's parts on it. The guy put it for sale for $1,000 with no description. He just said 1964 Dodge 300, which is actually a Dodge 330. And he said $1,000 or best offer. That's all the whole ad said, and it had two pictures. So it was for sale for a few weeks. So I sent him a message and saying, I apologize, I'm not your typical lowballer guy, but I just wanted to let you know what I'm thinking before something happened. I said, I've seen cars like that before where I don't say anything when I see them in the scrapyard. So I'd be interested in it for $300 if it doesn't sell before it goes to scrap. And I'd salvage every part I could. So anyway, he writes back, says there's a guy coming this weekend to look at it. And I said, perfect. Anyway, Monday comes along and he says, oh, the guy didn't show up, but there's another guy coming next weekend. So, okay. He goes, coming Saturday. So anyway, he sends me a message Saturday night. The guy didn't show up, but he's coming Sunday morning. And then he was going to come Sunday afternoon. And then that night at 10:30, he sends me a message. The guy didn't show up. And I said, oh, that's the worst. He goes, yeah, I waited for him all weekend. I'm like,
Gotta
okay.
love those guys.
So,
Many of them.
so that Monday morning, sends me a message and says, I called Kimco and they're paying me $400. They said they'd give $400 for a complete car. And I said, really? $400? They said scrap's like $60 a ton down here. How are they paying $400 for that? He goes, I don't know, but that's what they said they'd give me is $400. And so he said, if you want it for $400, come and get it. So I bought it for $400.
I like the patina on it.
You really? I don't know how that's possible. And actually, I don't think the trunk floor is bad. I can't remember. I had the trunk open, but it doesn't open very far. The hinges will see that. And they're 5960 Dodge hubcaps. And there's a set of 4 on it. The other one I put on the seat because I had to take that
I just
wheel
love
off.
the look of it.
Well, I agree. Well, so I have the 64 Dodge in the shop, and I have a 65 Coronet. And the Coronet was a 3 on the tree, and now it's a 4 on the floor. So I was going to use the steering column out of this. That's probably one of the only parts that I'm actually going to know for sure I'm going to use. The trunk lid's actually not rusty. There's a little filler where there was a dent in it, but the lip's not all swollen. But look at how they put a trailer hitch on it. Just put a ball on the bumper.
Yeah. I've seen that before.
Yeah. But the door handles aren't all pitted. They're nicer than the car that I drive. So I'll take those. And then somebody put seats in it out of a sedan. So that's a 60/40 bench seat that folds forward. So the seats have been changed in it. All fresh. Cool emblem on the glove box door. And the Canadian Dodges had Plymouth dashes. Which sounds odd, but they did that for many years. So that's what a Plymouth dash looks like, but this is a Canadian Dodge. It's a Dodge 330. There was a fellow over here that needed a roof for a 63. The 63 is different, which is too bad. But then he needed the radio knob, so he gave me $10 for the radio knobs off of it. So that's all I've sold, which is fine. I haven't advertised parts or anything, but I plan to dismantle the whole car. And I know you're falling in love with it as we talk.
I'm gonna have to walk away right now.
Yeah. I don't think it's worth fixing. Fairly certain.
I just love the look of it, and I'm thinking it'd be pretty cool.
It would be cool. I think it would have been cooler a long time ago before someone let it sit out in a field. But because from what I see, is it probably wasn't that bad of a car when it was put in.
And you gotta love that sound.
Hollow.
Hollow metal.
Yep.
Not like today's plastic.
Yeah, I think I'll cut it right off with the rad support, and then you can just put hooks on the wall to hang it where the radiator once was. I think that's the best
Put
option.
some LED lights in it to light it up on the wall.
Yeah, it's possible. And you're not really wasting anything, and then it keeps the car kind of alive for years to come. Has that character, like you said. It still has character. But the border's shut, so then it makes it higher here.
Mini bike?
Yeah. I bought that bike 3 times. I paid more for it each time, and then every time I get home, I'm like, why do I have this? But I want it so bad when it's somebody else's.
And you can't. You shouldn't sell it again. You really shouldn't sell it again.
This one was last licensed in 1955. I had the original ownership from it.
Tell me there's some bullet holes in it.
Well, there's one in the windshield.
Yeah, besides that.
No, that's the only one that I know of.
Really?
Yeah.
They all have bullet holes.
So the guy that had it, he built a shed for it behind his Esso station, and it sat in there. I don't know how long it was in that shed, but it was there a long time. He had obviously tinkered with the car. He sanded it all down and painted it green. He started to put some sort of interior kit in it.
Yeah.
And then it just sat. And someone actually broke in the shed and stole the rad cap and headlights off of it at one time. So they were missing. And then
What's the motor?
it's a 4-cylinder Model B. So, and it turns over, but anyway, the guy had it, and then he never sell anything. There's 350 cars on that property approximately, and this was the only one inside. So, anyway, it was the only one that had much value too. So I paid up for it because I wanted it, but now I have decided that I should maybe sell something, and so I put it for